Ba, ba, ba. We are officially live and in person for another fun episode of Photoshop Party. Today is Tuesday, April 27th. We're just cranking along this year. It's already almost halfway over. I'm excited. Today we're going to talk about fonts and the text tool. And I got a really cool thing to show how to make gold out of letters. Um, I had picked this one because I didn't think Mel was going to be here today, so I was going to do something really fun and exciting, but Mel showed up anyway, so.
Uh,
So let me get started and let's see what happens when I share the screen. And I don't have Photoshop showing up on there, so let me bring up Photoshop, go back to Zoom, go back to Zoom, share screen. We have Photoshop, and hopefully y'all can see my screen now.
Yes.
yep.
Yay, life is good. Okay, first thing I want to do is make a new project. So Command N or Control N for new. And let's start something new. Let's do a 10 by 8 at 300 with a white background. And everybody knows about the new document in Photoshop. It's really easy to work with.
No.
Okay, this is a new way to get new documents. It's been, well, they've had it in there for a few years. You can go to Preferences, Command or Control K. You can use the Legacy New Document. Click OK and hit Command New. This is the old version, which is okay. Doesn't really take any getting used to. This one, bring up new one again, Command New. And this, you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. Like right now, it's set to 10 by 8 at 300. I can change the orientation by just clicking right over here on the right side of the new document dialog box. So I can change it to a vertical or back to horizontal, and it changes automatically. You can change from pixels to inch, centimeters, pixels per centimeter if you want. I like inch because that's how I was raised. Whatever color you want to do, bitmap, grayscale, RGB, CMYK, or LAB. You can go 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. I'm going to stick with 8-bit because it runs a little bit faster. Background contents, I can do black, white, background color, which is on your color picker. Transparent or custom. So you can pick any of those that you want to do, and it shows up in this box right here. Or you can just click on the box and change it from there if you like. Color profile. I'm not even going to go through all the color profiles, but you can see there's a whole bunch. I've got it set to sRGB, and I'm going to use square pixels, but you can do all these different things here. And click Create. Instantaneously, I have a 10 by 8, or if you want to go 8 by 10 and turn your head, it's 8 by 10. And we're going to do a font here. So let's go ahead and hit the T for type or T for text. Drag a box in. And I'm going to start with Arial Black. And we'll go black for color. Whoops, wrong one. Hit 0 there. So we have black color. It's set for center, regular. So let's put in gold just for fun. And hit return. And it should. Oh, my cat just sat on my keyboard, which caused a little issue there. That's okay. They always jump up when you're trying to do stuff. Right now, I'm set to all caps, which is okay. And I'm going to open up the character panel, which is a little teeny tiny box, and you can't make it any bigger so you can see it, unfortunately. However, with this, the character panel box, I can change everything on here that I want to change. If I go to the drop down on the right hand side, I'm going to go down and reset character, which should set everything back to normal. So that actually takes it back to Myriad Pro, which I don't want. I want to actually have Arial Black. Okay, now my character is set. My font is set Arial Black. You can change it to anything you want. And there's presets in here. You can ask it for different classes of fonts, such as serif, slab serif, sans serif, script, black letter, monospace, handwritten, and decorative. You can also show just the Adobe fonts, which I don't really care about right now. You can show your favorite fonts. These are all my favorite fonts that I use on a regular basis. I believe the default is set to 10 for favorites. So let's go out of that. We'll go back to preferences. Come on, go to preferences. Where you know? Oh, because that's open. Hit escape. I don't want that. Okay, back to preferences, Command K. And we'll go to the type tool, which is down about 3/4 of the way down. And number of recent fonts to display 10. And it doesn't show my how many we can have on this one. There is a place in there, I believe, where you can change it from 10 to 100 favorites, but I'm not sure where it is. I don't, at this point, it's not really important, is it? You can change your type size here in the character panel, or you can go up to the top of the toolbar up here and change your size. You'll notice that I don't have my type tool open right now. The type tool is selected. The layer for the type is selected, but I don't have the word selected. You don't have to do that anymore, which is really cool. You used to have to go in and select the entire word. So you go in, select it, and then everything is golden. You're happy to go. You don't have to do that anymore. You can make all the changes you want while it's closed, but the layer is selected. One of the things about making a selection, if I single click, it puts it in a spot where you want to do your selection at. If I double click, it will do the word. If I triple click, it will do the line. If I click 4 times, it does the whole paragraph. If I click 5 times in a row, it'll do the entire thing, just like hitting Command or Control A, which to me, Command A is much faster than clicking 5 times on the letters. So if you want a shortcut, double click for the word, triple click for the line, 4 clicks for the paragraph. You can change the font here to any font you want. You can change the type that you have. Right now it's set to regular. Font style is only allowing me to do regular here. If I go up to the top toolbar, I can go from, oh, there is no bold up there. Okay. So Arial Black does not have a bold. Well, we'll fix that. On the left-hand side, 2/3 of the way down, there's a big T right here. If I click on that, it is a fake bold or a faux bold. So just for your information, that's there. Size, it will go up to 72, or if you use the scrubby slider, you can see it turns into a finger right there. If I scrub upwards, I just took it to 138, 181. Wow, it's getting big. If I want to make it a little taller, a little shorter, I'm going to set the leading, L-E-D-I-N-G. Not leading, leading is what they call it. Why? I don't know. Must be an old English talk for doing type back in the days of old. So let's go ahead and select the word, and we'll make it bigger, and it won't make it bigger. Oh, that's for going in between lines. I'm sorry. So let's go gold space, gold spa. That'll work. So if I want to do in between the lines, I can take it down. So the spacing between the lines, the leading, you can almost land it right on top so it's connected. So if you're playing with fonts and you want to do something spectacular and have it touching like this, you just do set the leading, which is the second one down, has an A above an A with an up and down arrow right there. The next box that we have right here is set the kerning between the letters. So to do that, you can make them space out a little bit, or here's what I have to do. I have to select between the two letters there, and then I can make the D go further away. Let me make this smaller so we can see what we're doing. Command A. There we go. Now select between the L and the D, and I will move it sideways. Set it to optical. And you can see I can make it further away per letter, or I can make it so it's touching. So that's a trick you can use with that as well. And then over here, what you have is a V and an A, which is highlighted. So what you do is you set the tracking for the selected characters. And you can tell it's selected because when you select letters, it highlights the whole letters and everything you've selected. And the same here, it shows it being selected. So let's go ahead and set the tracking. So we'll make it wider, wider, too wide. There we go. And then also with this, we can take this S and the P, and we make them a little bit taller by stretching them out. And this is the vertical scale or vertically scale tool right there. Let's set it back to 100%. And then you can also do the same thing with the whole line. Stretch it to the right or stretch it to the left. I mean, you just stretch out the letter. Or you can make it really, really tight for the whole thing. Set it back to 100. Whoops, that's 1,000. I don't want that. 100, enter. 100. Thank you. And then also, last but not least, you have the baseline shift. This will do some weird stuff. If I go to the right, let's do it this way. It moves everything up if you move it to the right. So when you select, you can see that the letters are outside your marquee area. And then If I go to the left into the minus area, it goes down. So it gives you a little bit of room there. And on the right hand side here, you can check the color. So obviously you can change the color to anything you want. We're going to change it to, leave it like it is for now. I'm going to leave it at black. I said I'm going to leave it at black. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, you have down in the bottom row under the color, you have your fake bold, your fake italic. You have all caps, which is already all caps, but if you didn't have it all caps, let's make it not all caps. Hit enter. So we're going to make it italic, make it all caps. You can make it so it's, turn that one off, turn that one on. All caps, so this is the big capitalization, then you have the small capitalization. So you just look at these and they're pretty much common sense. You have subscript or superscript on this one, subscript on this one, underline, and strike through. So if you're doing a typing program and you want to do strike through, you can do that as well. Pick your language. I'm sticking to English. That works for the hyphenation and the spelling when there's a spell check on here. And then also sharp, crisp. It's the anti-alias. And for those who don't know what anti-alias is, it's when you, let me zoom in really big here. If I turn off the anti-alias, you can see the edge of the letters starts to get jagged. Anti-alias will make it smoother and sharper looking so that it looks like a crisper kind of a image. So I'm going to leave it at sharp. And that's that dialog box. And then I can reset down here, change orientation if I wanted to. From right now it's set to center. If I wanted to go left, right, or whatever, we can do that. Let me move this guy back up here again. Command 0. And I was going to show you something else, but I forget where I was going with that.
Before you go on, I have a question about those sharp and crisp and all that.
The anti-alias?
Well, I understand the anti-alias, but as you go down the list, are they supposed to be getting smoother all the time? Each one is a little bit smoother than the last one, because I couldn't tell much of a difference.
There wasn't hardly any difference. There's supposed to be some difference there, but there was not. When you turn it to none, you can see the difference there. So let's zoom in. Yeah, you can see the difference at none. But when you do the other ones, I didn't notice any difference either. Just a slight variation. Not a whole heck of a lot.
Okay.
But you might see more of a difference when you print the document as opposed to on the screen too.
That could be too.
Your DPI, your printer is not going to be near as high as this monitor is.
Right. So.
Okay.
That answers that, I think. I am not an expert in that area, so I can't really speak to that. So let's go ahead and play with it a little bit. Let me go ahead and change this to
Michael?
Yes.
Before we move that or lose that box, what are those icons right above where it says English?
The little scripty looking things?
Yeah.
Standard ligatures. They're all grayed out, so I don't know what they do.
If you go to Times New Roman, you get a couple of them that will turn on.
Try selecting something and see if they turn back on.
Well, let's do this. Command A, you said Times New Roman?
Yeah,
There it is, one of my favorites. And it turned on a couple of them. Let me make it a little bit smaller so it fits on the line. And then we'll go to
Michael, I think that's dependent on what font you're using, and some of them have those special characters.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to these. Most of them are still grayed out, so it probably just depends on the fonts, and there's something there. I am not an expert in this area. I just have fun doing this. Okay.
I've run into some, Mike, I've run into some characters, some of their kind of fancy Z's and T's with the big swoops on them. Those will show up in those those areas where if you've got those, like there's chocolate boxes one and Chopin that have a lot of those special things that when you get those, you can find those other types of fancy characters in there.
Okay. I'm going to change my font here, moving on, because I don't know the answer to those. So let me change to Baskerville, which is a cool looking font. I want to make my J a whole lot bigger. So let's go ahead and we'll just make it a bigger J. Make these a whole lot smaller. Let's take them down to say 24 point. Take this to 24 point. Whoops, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it, 24. With the letters selected. Come on, you can do this, Mike. You've done this before. There we go. 24 point. You can see a big old space right there. So let's go ahead and bring that close. And we're going to take the L and bring that in as well. So and my J, I think, is a little bit too high. So let's go ahead and bring it down by it's not going to come down for me. Okay, fine. But you can see with this, you can do some really cool font stuff and make a great design out of it just by playing with the kerning and the leading and all that fun stuff. So don't be afraid to play with this and just enjoy it. Figure out what you can do with it. The worst that can happen is you screw it up and you hit Command or Control W to close and start all over again. Okay, let me close this one out, say goodbye, and we're going to go to reset characters. And I'm going to go back to Arial Bold again, Arial Black. G-O-L-D. We're going to make gold today, which is kind of cool, kind of fun, kind of different. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to do something different first. So let's go ahead and hit escape. I want to fill with black. So I'm going to hit D for default colors, option backspace, which fills my area with black. and I'm going to go to a different font. I'm going to go to PT Sans Narrow, which is an Adobe font. I'm going to do it in white to start with so we can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to type H-O-T, hot. Let's make it as big as we can to start with. 72 is not big enough for me. I want big, bold. Okay, what I'm going to do now is something a little weird. I am going to change the color of this from white to black. You can't see my font right now, which is okay. Double click on here to bring up my layer styles. And my notes are really scribbly here, so it's hard for me to see, but let's go ahead and do Interglow. So I'm going to go down to Interglow. Interglow, there you are, come on. I'm going to change the color from white to an orangish red. So we've got the color going. Opacity, we're going to raise the opacity up just a little bit, bring up a whole lot of noise to go around it. Size got way too big for me. And you can adjust your noise if you don't want really noisy like it is there. You can bring it down so it's a little bit sharper looking. And just make it look something kind of cool. You can change your choke a little bit. When you change the choke, it makes it look a whole lot bigger. And just play with your fonts a little bit and have a good time with it. That's what it's all about. I mean, I just enjoy playing. And so now you make hot, and if you want to do something else to it, you can open it back up again, hit your drop shadow, change your drop shadow color to the orange. If you can click on the orange, click OK. So you got a little bit less of the, let's go back up a little bit brighter. And with your drop shadow, you can move it around. And it's not showing up, it's a multiply. That's why I want it in screen. There we go. And you can just make things happen with it. Really cool. And we do an outer glow, do the same color.
Michael, I missed something. How did you get the layer styles to show up?
There's two different ways to do that. One is to click on the effects button, FX down here, or two, you just double click on the layer panel on that layer, not on the word, not on the text, but just double click on the layers right there, and it'll bring up your layer styles.
Okay, I just realized what was happening. I had the letters selected in the text.
Okay.
And it wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You betcha. But you can do all kinds of cool stuff playing with it. Bring up noise, bring up opacity, and just get funky with it. I mean, you can see that's a little too funky. But there you go, that's hot. Okay. back to square one where I was going before. Let's go ahead and make a text box. Let me reset my text again. Reset character. And I'm going to go to Arial Black. Let's make it bold. Let's make it big. Type in the word gold. Change the color from black to white so we can see what we're doing. And bigger, 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 bigger. There we go. I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that?
Yep.
I'm glad you're happy with that. Let's go ahead and make it so we can center it. The easiest way is hit the move tool once it's selected. And now we're set to gold. You know, I changed my mind on the font. I want to do New Times Roman. So I'm going to go up here, New Times Roman. There we go. Turn that guy off, turn that guy off. We're going to do bold, and should be bold here. There we go. Nice, fat, big bold. So if everything works right, I'm going to hit Command J, which makes a gold copy. And I'm going to work on gold copy to start with to make things happen. So first thing I'm going to do is what Bruce was just asking about. I'm going to make my layer styles appear. I can either go to the Effects, FX button down at the bottom of the Layers panel. Turn off that, I don't need it. Or double click here. And I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to go to Gradient Overlay, which is right there, Gradient Overlay. And I'm going to hit the Reset to Default, so it sets everything back to normal. And you can see the reset for default is right there where my cursor's going around. So just click on that. And we're going to create a gold gradient. So I'm going to click on the gradient slot, and I'm going to go to the stops down here. I'm going to go to the bottom stops. You got the left color stop, you got the right color stop. I'm going to double click on it, and it brings up the color panel. I'm going to set R, the red value, to 247. Hit tab, which brings me down to the green value. Go to 238. And then the blue value at 173. So 247, 238, 173. It's going to be my left stop. Go to my right stop on the bottom, double click on it, and it's going to be red is going to be 193. Hit tab to go to the next one. Green is going to be 172. And blue is going to be 81. And you can see it gives me a nice gold color there. Click OK. I'm going to change the gradient type. Actually, I'm going to do something else first. I'm going to save the gold gradient as a preset. So I'm going to hit where it says custom right here in the middle. I'm going to type in the word gold. Click new. And it just added a new preset on my gradients that we just made. I could have gone to the preset that I did while I was practicing, but I wanted to walk through the steps how to make the preset. So now it shows up in there. We're going to change the gradient type from solid. Actually, no, we're going to keep it there. This is where we're going to make the change from linear. We're going to change it to reflected. And you can see when I change back and forth between linear and reflected, you can see what the gradient does. It makes a little bit of a statement there where the light is in the middle and the dark is on the outside. I'm going to add a layer, a bevel and emboss layer effect. So click on bevel and emboss. And again, set the reset. This is in case you were doing something else with another document. Wow, my brain is fried. It's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon too. Okay, reset the default, change the technique from inner bevel. Actually, we're going to keep it there. From technique goes from smooth to chisel hard. Inner bevel is what you want. You're going to go down to the gloss contour. We are going to use a contour, something that I have never hardly ever used. And I'm going to use the third from the left on the bottom. It's called the ring double. Third from the left on the bottom, the ring double. Looks like a upside down M, or it looks like a W, depending on how you're looking at it. Just click on that, and it changes everything quickly. Oh. Yeah, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, something's working there. You can either double click on it or single click. Whoops. If you single click on the down arrow and then double click on the one you want, it'll bring it up. And here we go, anti-aliased. Anti-alias needs to be checked. You do that so you get that nice smooth transitions going on. And in the shading section, I'm going to change the angle from 91, which is default, I don't know why, to 120. Set the highlight and shadow opacity down at the bottom down here. Highlight mode screen, opacity at 75%. Multiply on the shadow mode at 75%. And if you can't get it exact, just hit the up and down arrows and it'll bring it in exactly where you want it to. So we set it to 75% there. And size value right here in the middle. You're going to slide the slider over to the right. You started really small. You bring it up till these lines intersect. You want to make sure that the lines come tight together. I brought mine up to 128. So we're inner bevel, chisel hard, size 128, angle 120, altitude we didn't change. The glass contour is ring double. Screen mode for highlight at 75. Multiply for shadow mode at 75. So if everything works, I'm going to change the depth from 100. Take it up to about, 170. That went faster than I thought it would. Let's do this, 170. And that just added an Interglow, or we're going to add an Interglow. So that's all with the bevel and emboss. That one's done. We're going to go to Interglow and again, reset the default. Default is reset. Change the blend mode of the Interglow from screen to multiply. We got that covered. Opacity, 50%. Drag your slider over to 50, or it was highlighted at 35, so I just left it highlighted, typed in 50 because I knew that was my next one. We're going to go to the color swatch right here, and it's default to white. We're going to change the RGB value to 232. The green value is 128, and the blue value is 31. Looks like a nice bright orange. Finally, we're going to increase the size of the glow until it completely fills the letters. So size is right in the middle down here. We're going to see the letters change as I slide it over. Right now it's at 0 and they're light gold. Slide it over to the right and you can see that they changed to a nice bronzish gold, which is really cool. And depending on the size of your image, if it's a smaller image, you won't need as much. So if it's a 72 DPI or PPI image, you can probably get away with 75 pixels. This is at 128. And then I'm going to click OK. So far, so good. I'm looking good. We're going to select the gold layer, not the gold copy layer, but go down to the gold layer, which is the layer down below. And we're going to add a stroke around the letters. So to get to the stroke, you either hit FX or double click on the layer and go to stroke. Reset the default. And we're going to fill with the gold gradient preset. So let's see if I can remember how to get to my gold gradient preset. Fill type, gradient. Click on the drop down arrow. Don't click on the gradient because it just bring up the gradients for you. What you want to do is click on the drop down arrow and get your gold gradient, which that means you don't have to build it again. Fill the stroke with the gold gradient. We're going to change, fill type is already set to gradient for us, so I didn't have to do that. I did that accidentally before. And then from linear down to reflected. You can set the position of the stroke to the outside, which is unusual for me. I always do inside position. This one calls for outside. And it gets you a stroke there. And we're going to set it to around 8 or thereabouts, which gets you a healthy stroke there. And then we're going to apply a bevel and emboss to the stroke. This is a long, drawn-out process, and I do have it saved as a Word doc or a PDF if anybody wants a copy of it. Okay, click on bevel and emboss. Reset all that good stuff. Change the style from inner bevel to stroke emboss, which changes it a little bit. Set to chisel hard. Set the value the same size that you had for your stroke. So the size is going to be 8. And if everything goes right, depth, make sure everything is there. Depth is going to go up to 170. I'll type it in. Angle 120. We're going to do a gloss contour, just like we did before. Multiply and screen, 75, 75. Click OK, I hope. The contour, blah, blah, blah. Anti-alias, of course, I forgot that. And we're going to do an outer glow effect. We already got the, whoa, that's not what I want. Double click on the colors. Color picker, we're going to go to 232 to 128 for green and 31 for blue. That gets us a nice pretty one. And set the opacity glow to 40%. So opacity right now is set to 30. Let's go to 40. There we go. I at? And the size of the glow is going to be around 60 pixels. So we're going to bump it way up. I'm going to take it higher than 60. Just so we get that shadow. You see the gold color coming out between the letters here? That's what I was looking for. And if everything works right, I click OK. Go to my gold copy layer, and I'm going to click on a new layer. But before I click on the new layer, I'm going to hold the Option key. And the reason I hold the Option key, it tells me layer 1. I can change the title of the layer really quickly as I'm doing it. So I'm going to call it Sparkle. Click OK. Now what I'm going to do is add a little bit of sparkle to the gold. So I'm going to hit B for brush. And the brush I want is a crosshatch brush. So I'm going to go to my brushes up here, and holy cow, I've got thousands of brushes. No problem. I'm going to outsmart it. I'm going to go search brushes, which is the right above your set right here, and type in crosshatch. And I now have crosshatch brushes, and I want, let's go with the crosshatch 4, which is 48 pixels. And we're going to sample the bright area on the gold. And let's make it a little bit bigger. Click a couple times. Let's go to the L here, make it a little bit bigger. Click on there, a little smaller. Click there. And let's add one for the D. So we'll click right here. And if your sparkles are too bright, just bring your opacity down a little bit. Say about 80%. And that is the fastest way to make gold. And it took me how long? 20 minutes? Wow. That was a long way around to make gold.
Ever thought about making an action to do a bulk of that?
Yes. But it depends on the word that you're doing, though. Because some of these, especially the sparkles, you have to worry about where you put them. You'd have to save that for later. I've thought about making an action. I've only run through this a few times. I might make an action and give it away to my class at West Coast School. So anybody that's in my class will get it for free. Ha ha. I'll tell you guys how I'll get you in my class.
That was very nice.
Thank you.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Now you need to watch it about 10 times so you could get it down. And
we've all been putting in chat that we want your written instructions.
Yes, we have.
Well, that's a good thing.
And Mikey, can I get an advance on that action? I'll be impressed. I need an advance. I think it'll be really nice to apply that. We have Prime Image Collection in for image comp. So I am thinking that corner thing that we had a draft Angela did already, but it will be spectacular to add what you just did.
I think that'd be really cool. You can also do it in silver. What you can do is go online and pick a silver coin and drop it into Photoshop, color click on the coin in the highlight area, and then color click on the highlight or the shadow area. So you get a light and a dark silver. So you can mix the two for making silver text as well. So that's
How did you come up with the gold colors? Did you play around with those, or did you find that somewhere?
I found that somebody had it on YouTube, and I used their colors for that. I thought it was pretty cool.
Really cool.
I like that
Really
technique. Cool. It's just so long and drawn out.
It's a process.
Yes, but if everybody could do it, that's what they say. If it was easy, everybody could do it.
If I can do it, everybody can do it. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't screw it up going through the notes and getting lost in my notes and skipping a step or forgetting to do something. And so it's a little challenging to do it online. I will try to get it to everybody I don't know if I have everybody's email address, so I'm going to give you my email address in the chat. And just send me an email requesting it, and I'll reply back. I'll send it as a PDF, and we'll get it to you, because you guys are such nice people. I'll be happy to share. I should only give it to my class, but I'm gonna give it to you guys. If I have an action made by then, I'll give the action to the class.
But we are your class. Your
That's
test.
right.
We're your test subjects.
Yeah, but we're doing this for free. West Coast Schools pay me big bucks to fill up my class, so I gotta find something to fill my class.
Oh, I know better than that.
Yeah, I'm not in it for the money at West Coast School. That's for sure.
Big bucks.
Yeah, big
Michael,
bucks.
we really appreciate these classes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
enjoyed doing them. It's scary sometimes because I'm not sure what I'm doing, and I have to research it and get semi-proficient at it as fast as I can. But
Also just being able to get together with everybody on a weekly basis and say hi and say what it is. This is great.
see your smiling faces and some of your not so smiling faces. Yeah, this is,
and all
this is
without
fun.
masks on, which is wonderful.
Okay, let me unrecord this.